Filmer.
My name's Rebecca Ellis.
Oh.
This is Robert Chick and Timothy Chick and Cody Mangum and Amanda Chick and Melinda Horn. Okay, my speech is about Czechoslovakia. When I was younger, my family would always get together, and I noticed that we did things a little bit differently than all the other families. As I got a little bit older, I built up the nerve to ask Nanny why we did some of these things. That was when she told me all about how her and her family come over on a boat through Ellis Island. She's actually from Czechoslovakia. I began to get more and more curious, so I started asking a lot more questions. What was it like there? How did you dress? What kind of music did you listen to? Did you go to church? She answered all of my questions, and I also did some research of my own. Even though Czechoslovakia no longer exists today, I'm going to inform you on the culture of the Slovak people, touching on the types of foods that they ate, the holidays and festivals that they would attend for entertainment, and the music that they listened to. Let's begin with the food. I grew up eating much of the traditional Slovak cooking. They eat some similar foods as we do in the United States, but they put their own twist into it. According to Czech culture, the traditional Czech diet may be heavy with an emphasis on meat, potatoes, and dumplings, with the use of substantial amounts of animal fat, butter, and cream. Nanny and her mother sometimes would make their own homemade dumplings. They're very different from the usual dumplings that we're used to eating, but they would roll them out of dough, filling them with a variety of different flavors, and boil them. Slovak people love to eat sweets. With dumplings, you can fill them with sweet and fruity foods, or even chicken or pork. The Slovaks also really enjoy eating in general, so there would be many times when everyone from the neighborhood would gather together in the streets and eat together. It reminds me a lot of Thanksgiving, only it happened dozens of times a year. Now that we have a slight idea of the types of food Slovak people eat, let's talk about different holidays and celebrations that kept everyone entertained. The Slovak people celebrated some of the same holidays as we Americans celebrate, only they celebrate them a tad bit differently than we do. They have different traditions. They also have added a few holidays to their calendar. Some of these include St. Stephen's Day, Jan Hus Day, and even Liberation Day. Another holiday that we don't celebrate, that they celebrate, is called Hromnis. The website myczechrepublic.com discusses Hromnis, celebrated on February 2nd of each year. It is similar to our American Groundhog Day, marking the middle of winter. It's also related to many weather-related proverbs and predictions. Keeping these points in mind, let's learn more about the traditional Slovak music. The Slovak people really enjoyed traditional folk music. According to a website about Slovakia, these folk songs were sang by people in the past while working in fields for entertainment or while raising children. This type of folk music has been sung throughout history, and it gets passed on from generation to generation. Slovak folk music is played with a variety of homemade instruments such as the fujar, which is basically just a wooden shepherd's flute. They also play many different homemade woodwind instruments. The Slovak people enjoy gathering together in the streets, wearing their colorful costumes and dancing with one another. They would play their folk songs and dance for hours and hours. The Slovaks were friendly people, treating their neighbors as if they were family. They found many ways to entertain themselves. Now that we have taken a walk through Czechoslovakia, we can all better appreciate the cultural differences. Czechoslovakia may no longer exist as a country today, but the ways of the Slovak people still live on through their culture. There are still many Slovak families in existence, celebrating and living their lives as their families once did, eating the same types of foods, and celebrating the different holidays and neighborly gatherings, and keeping the traditional Slovak folk music alive. Now we have family get-togethers. I notice that we do things differently than others, but I no longer have to ask questions. I know that we are different. That's the end.